after year, and Jarrett, really nothing. Guys could break through. This could be their year. You talk about Sean Brierley, Jarrett King. Those are guys who come out at Grands and they just get it done year after year after year. And Jarrett's been close a bunch of times. Any one of these years, he's gonna get it done. He just made some hand dressers like it's gonna be his year this year. We'll have to see how that goes. Speaking of Masters, we weren't able to get Fred up here. Sergio Bravo here. Sergio, you here? No? Okay, Diego, you're here. Diego, come on up. We want to talk to you at Masters.
Diego, it's not that you're the last pick or anything like that. We truly did want to talk to you.
Sure.
We were going to get to you at some point. You just got moved up the order a little bit. How you doing, Diego?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing great. So,
Mikey.
Diego is one of those guys who's always up front in the Super Series. He's been up front in the Grands as far as Masters is concerned in the past, but it hasn't quite happened. I know that you've done the IKWCs before, the KWCs. You've always been right on the cusp, but haven't gotten that breakthrough yet. What are you changing this year to make that breakthrough happen?
Absolutely nothing. The interesting thing about the Grands for me is, you got to get a really good set of tires out there. You got to have the right motor, the right sponsor. And if you line all that up, then you can really make it happen. No, all kidding aside, I mean, this is one of the hardest things that you'll do. And coming back here every year, I always walk away learning a lot. Come away a much better driver and have a blast doing it. So for me, this is an incredible holiday. It's a great time to be with my family of racers. And it is extremely difficult. It's a very competitive field. It's one of the most competitive environments that you'll find. And it requires you to be on mark, be a little bit lucky, and not miss anything. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of Masters drivers this year that are going to be tough. We know Fred Ogram's going to be tough. We know Sergio Bravo's going to be tough. There's a bunch of them. Dave Kelmanson might still be out here. He hasn't signed up yet, but he's been in contact with us. He might still make it. He was third last year. He's maybe a dark horse, if you will, but he's won a Super Series. He's not exactly a dark horse.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be here. So, yeah, I really want him to come.
Right sponsor.
He's a sweet guy and a great person to have out here. So, yeah, I hope he can make it.
That's always hard to kind of pinpoint, but, I mean, is it fair to say that Sergio and Fred are kind of the two guys that you've got circled, maybe thinking that you got to get them?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. I mean, yes, they are the guys that I'm targeting, but I think that the three of us also target the overall. I think the fact that age is really kind of irrelevant when it comes to this level of competition. We've been doing it all for so long. We would like to think that we're going for the overall, and it's just kind of secondary, the Masters. But it's a rivalry that we've built up over time, and, Fred is about to pick his spot. Let's see where he ends up. Hopefully not in my group.
Showed up about 5 minutes late, Fred.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to mind.
Kind of that poised Masters, stroll.
Yeah, I think he is thinking of himself as the guy to beat. I think he knows, that he's the guy to beat this year. And
yeah,
defending champion. He's got to be, right?
He's ignoring everything we're saying right now. Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear it, but he just says, what? After we're ragging on him for a better part of 30 seconds. But Diego, you mentioned something interesting there, and that's the overall championship. I know you're a guy where you come into it, and the Masters is great, you want to win it, but you're the kind of guy who, you won Super Series, you won a Super Series this year, last year, pretty much every year. You know you can get it done for the overall. So that's your true goal, right? You're winning the overall championship?
Absolutely. I think that I look at any race that I enter as like any racer. You want to win everything that you drive in. You strive to show up in the morning and go to the driver's meeting with the attitude that, hey, today I'm going to win everything. And so even from the get-go, from qualifying, and you set yourself up, and I'm the worst possible person for setting myself up for qualifying, as I complain about everything on the planet because it's never my fault. And then from then on, I try and do the best I can in the race. And I think that what I like to do out here is sort of start a little bit back and make my way up front, because being up front here doesn't mean you're going to win the race. You start on pole is actually the biggest target. So it's exciting no matter what happens, but I go out here to win everything that I can get into.
How do you feel your chances are for not only a Masters championship, but for an overall? How are you feeling this weekend?
I feel really good. It's kind of funny. You have the superstitious aspect of racing that happens when you've been racing for as many years as I have, and I have a lot of things that I do to prep for an event, and I also have to look after my health and make sure that everything's on target and I haven't, injured anything coming over here. I haven't. I'm also feeling mentally really well. I've been doing pretty good in the Cal Speed Super Series. So I think this is going to be a good year.
So you mentioned a little bit of superstition. I know you're a guy who's not superstitious per se, but you like to have your routines. You like to have your stuff that you like to do. And we had an IndyCar driver show up this morning, your countryman, Carlos Munoz. And
how did he do, by the way?
He did well. He was pretty much on pace within the 8 laps he had.
Oh,
and he was doing well. And I was thinking, man, Diego is so just, everything means something with Diego. Everything happens for a reason with Diego. I'm like, he's probably thinking, yeah, all right, he's out here. That means I'm going to win. I mean, I don't know how that works, but
there's so many things. Look at my name on Group D. D for Diego. Look where I'm at, right? That means something, right, guys? P1. I'm going to take a picture of that because that's going to be probably the best I'll do all.
I don't know how to follow that out.
So there you go.
All right, yeah, that's good. Thanks for coming up here, Diego. I got nothing for you after that one.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great time.
Let's give it up for Diego Morales.